Assalamu alaikum students. So once again, very good morning to you all and welcome to the second English Google online classroom. Today we are going to do a written work. As we know very well that in our first double lesson we do reading, and then we are supposed to do written work as well. So in today we are going to do some written work, and I am going to explain how to do some questions, how to do two questions that we always do in the class. The learning objective is to be able to debate how far witches are responsible for Macbeth's current situation. As we know very well about the second scene of Act 5, when Macbeth has gone mad, and commanders of English army are talking about his madness. So let's have a look on the other slides. On second slide, we can see this one point is given about scene one. This point is just to remind you that what you have done yesterday. The first scene in the Act 5, the sleepwalking scene, is written principally in prose. But as we know very well, that Shakespeare is called the dramatic poet. He is the dramatist actually. He has written many dramas, but all those dramas are written in the form of poetry. If you read the text, the original text, you can find the rhythm in the lines. So they are in the form of poetry. But this scene is written in prose form. Prose means whenever there is no poetry, there is no rhythm, no rules of poetry are followed. So this scene is written in prose. And yes, it also follows the guilt-racked, sleepwalking Lady Macbeth as she recollects horrific images and impressions from her past. We know very well about scene one that Lady Macbeth is trying to remember her past when she does sleepwalking, and she reminds all the things, and also she confesses whatever she and Macbeth have done in past. The scene is Lady Macbeth's last on-stage appearance, though her death is reported later in the act. So in this act, in the next scenes, we will come to know that Lady Macbeth has been died. Moving towards the next slide, we can say here the question is given, and this is the question as we do in the class. This is the source question. Question is starting with the extract given below from Act 5, Scene 1. This whole extract is from Act 5, Scene 1. Explore how and why does Shakespeare combine the motifs of sleep, blood and light, darkness in scene. Uh, Shakespeare has presented the theme of sleep, and the theme of sleepwalking and blood and light darkness. Consider your understanding of the entire plot. So we are going to explore this question in this extract. So Lady Macbeth says this is the whole extract. You can read it now. What you are supposed to consider when you are answering this question? You should consider you should consider that Lady Macbeth's thoughts and actions when sleepwalking. That what Lady Macbeth is thinking. Lady Macbeth is thinking. If you talk about this extract and this one, we will come to know that she is talking about the damned spot that is on her hand, and actually that spot is the spot of blood. And this one too. Let me read this dialogue in detail. Out, damned spot, out! I say. She wants to remove that blood that is on her hands. One, two. So these two words, one, two. This shows if we if you remember when Macbeth went to kill Duncan, so there was a sign. The sign of bell, that when Macbeth will listen to the bells, he will consider that it is the right time to kill King Duncan. So 1 2 means these are basically the bell rings, because bell rang for 3 times, and this is sorry, bell rang for 2 times actually, I think. So 1 2 means the time of bell. Now she is reminding the time when she rang the bell, and on the other hand, Macbeth murdered King Duncan. She says, "Why then? This is time to do it. So this is the right time to remove the spot, to remove the blood. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie, a soldier and a feared." So she's confessing now that she has murdered a soldier. She has only murdered a soldier, but why she? They are sorry. They both have murdered only a soldier, but why they are afeared? Here, soldier means Banco. In this line, Lady Macbeth talks about. Duncan, and here she talks about the soldier means Banquo. What need we fear? Who knows it? Like now, actually, this is a soliloquy of Lady Macbeth, but in this soliloquy, audience think that Lady Macbeth is talking to Macbeth. She is considering Macbeth in front of him, but there is no Macbeth. She is only talking to herself in sleep. So what need we fear? Like she says that they don't need to be fear. They don't need to have any fear. They don't need to be afraid, and they don't need to be scared. Who knows it? Like if people have known it, if people know that they have murdered many crimes, if people know that Lady Macbeth and Macbeth have committed so many crimes in order to get the kingdom, so they no need to have any fear. When she says when none call you or power to account, like no one can get our kingdom from us, no one can get our rule for our throne from us, ठीक है? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? Then again she returns back to here. Then again she returns back here. She says, yet who would have thought, who has thought that old man means Duncan, to have had so much blood in him? Like the blood is so much. His hands are full of blood that blood cannot be removed. Hey, doctor says, do you mark that? Now doctor is saying to this gentlewoman, doctor and gentlewoman, they both are observing Lady Macbeth's attitude by hiding themselves somewhere on the stage. So do you mark that? Doctor asks. Doctor asks from gentleman that do you mark that? Like have you heard whatever she is saying? Whatever Lady Macbeth is saying. So Lady Macbeth then again Lady Macbeth is having her soliloquy. She says the Thane of Five had a wife. The Thane of Five. Now she's having the theme of guilty. She says where is she now? Like the Thane of Five means Macduff. Head of wife means Lady Macduff. Like there was Lady Macduff. She was the wife of Thane of Five, but where is she now? It means she has been murdered. Now she talks about another thing. What will these hands never be clean? Like these hands can never be clean. These hands, the blood on my hands will be forever. It can never be moved. No more of that, my lord. No more of that. Like she wants no more blood on her hands. She wants to get she wants that blood to get cleaned. You mar all with this starting. Now she is, you can say, she is blaming her lord. Lord means Macbeth. She is blaming that you mar all with this starting. Like you are responsible for what you have started. You are responsible. She's telling Macbeth, she is saying to Macbeth that Macbeth is responsible for the murder of the wife of Thane of Fife. Then doctor says, go to, you have known what you should not. Like doctor says to gentlewoman that sorry, doctor, uh, as he's hiding himself, but she says, sorry, but doctor says to Lady Macbeth, not loudly, but a little bit voice, with a little bit voice, he says, go to, you have known what you should not. Like what you have known that Macbeth has murdered Macduff's family. Macbeth has murdered Macduff's family. So doctor says that you have known what you should not. You have realized everything now. You have realized and you are feeling the guilt now, and you have known that you both have committed so many crimes. Now you have realized. This is what doctor is saying. Next gentlewoman says she has spoke with what she should not. Now gentlewoman is telling doctor that He's, she is telling doctor that this Lady Macbeth has spoken what she should not speak. She has confessed everything, and she had revealed all the secrets that she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known, and heaven knows what the other things she knows, and but she is not revealing them. She is not unhiding them. This was the explanation of this extract, and now you are supposed to consider Lady Macbeth's thoughts and actions when sleepwalking. What are her thoughts? We have discussed here and in this line, and we have also uh, come to know the actions. Okay, so you can find when you will read the text how her language reflects her fragile state of mind. So these are some words that are taken, that are actually the words of Lady Macbeth, this one and this one. So you can easily find out that how fragile she is, how you can say, how confused she is and how open she is, that she is confessing everything and she is revealing all the truths that she should not. And one thing more, she is not in her senses, she is not in her conscious, she is unconscious, and in her unconscious state she is revealing all the things. So you can say this is just because she has everything in her mind. And how this scene links with the Macbeth's thoughts about sleep in Act 2, Scene 2. I told you about this in a previous lesson as well. Like she, Macbeth's thoughts and about sleep in Act 2. If we remember, Macbeth's thought in Act 2, Scene 2, after killing King Duncan, Macbeth says that he heard a voice. And what was that voice? That voice was a sleep. Macbeth cannot sleep. Yeah, sorry, Macbeth does not sleep because he has killed an innocent sleep. And yes, I have now, I have the words in my mind now. Like sleep no more, Macbeth sleep no more. Does the murder sleep? It means like Macbeth has murdered an innocent sleep. Macbeth has murdered King Duncan while sleeping. So it means in future a time is coming when Macbeth will not be able to sleep. Macbeth also will not be able to sleep because he has murdered an innocent sleep. If you talk about scene 2, some important points of scene 2, this is just to remind you the summary. In Shakespeare's times, it was widely believed that witches could cast spells that might kill farm animals or cause crops to fail. So this was the time when people used to believe witches, when people used to believe the magics done by witches. That's why the Shakespeare introduced those witches in her. Sorry, Shakespeare introduced the magic and the supernatural elements in his play. On second point, we see that plays about the supernatural were very popular as many people had at one time or another been cursed by witches. So people were, you can say, people were used to those witches. So we can easily say that people were very familiar with the magic done by witches. So this was so popular, and many people used to write the plays using supernatural elements at that time. In 1604, a law was passed that made witchcraft punishable by death. This law was passed in 1604. This is the time of Shakespeare when he was writing the plays. So before that, before this play was written, a law was passed that made witchcraft punishable by death. It was against this background that Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, perhaps to please the king. So because the law was passed by king, so Shakespeare, in order to please the king, introduced introduced that if anyone uses witchcraft, if anyone is involved in witchcraft or magic, so he should be punished, or he would have some, you can say, negative ending, some tragic ending, as Macbeth and Lady Macbeth will going to have a tragic ending. Next turning point of this scene is actually the turning point of the play, because after this we will come to know a new thing about this scene, about this play, about this plot. Moves the play along from Macbeth's reign to fall. In this scene, we will come to know that Macbeth's reign is going to fall. So, your second question for today is, what is Macbeth's current psychological condition in Act 5, Scene 2? Why do you think it is? So now we are going to talk about his psychological condition, and you can add these given points. Like 5 points are given here, and you can add these points in your answer. So let me discuss them one by one. Uh, this scene talks about that Macbeth is just approaching insanity. He has gone almost mad. And yes, when you are talking about when you are talking about his madness, many people in Scotland believes that that Macbeth has gone mad, and Macbeth is doing whatever Macbeth is doing is completely false and completely cruel. So you can add this quotation like, some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. So some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. So here we can say that Macbeth. Some people, some say means yeah. Now um, the writer is talking about the people of Scotland. Like they think that Macbeth has gone to mad, and the others that lesser hate him. The other people that hate him less. The people who hate him the most, they consider him he's mad, and the people who consider him who hate him lesser do call it valiant fury. So here they think that Macbeth is whatever Macbeth has become valiant, Macbeth has become cruel. Those he command next point is knows that he is soon going to eventually lose the throne. You can now Macbeth has come to know that he is losing the throne. Soldiers are working out of order, not out of love. Soldiers are they are working uh, so because in this scene we will come to know that soldiers are working just as per the order of Macbeth. They are not working for the love of Macbeth. And yes, this also means that if soldiers are working just because of order, just because of the commands of Macbeth, when it means a time is coming when soldiers will get rebellious. When uh, it means they will get rebellious. So third point is no more a man as he always tries to prove to his wife. No more a man as he always tries to prove to his wife. So as he always tries to prove his wife that he has become a man, and his wife always accuses him to be having an to be not having the manly qualities like bravery. He all Whatever he has done in past was just to prove his wife that he has a quite brave man. But in this scene, he is behaving no more like a man. Fourth point you can discuss in this question is conflict with himself, man versus self. So he is in conflict with himself, and this conflict is called man versus self. In this means like a man is having a conflict with his own self, like he is behaving what he is not thinking. His inner self is telling something else, and he is behaving something else. His inner self is pushing him to do something different, but he himself is doing something that he does not want. So second quotation that you can add here, that those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. This quotation can be added in this third point, like soldiers are working out of order, not out of love. So those are those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. People are all the soldiers are moving, all soldiers are working just for the command, and they are not having love for Macbeth.